People gonna hate the ending. People gonna say, I feel like I wasted my time. People gonna say, oh, they just left us hanging with the way the movie ended. Here's the truth about that. I think people just don't want to accept what the characters told you it was. This is the movie review for Leave the World Behind. Every now and then, Netflix makes a movie that plays on the state of the world that we are currently in. Last year, they made Don't Look Up, which was a play on like the Trump era of politics and how politicians could convince people to disregard the obvious and follow them blindly. Leave the World Behind is a look at the divisive state of the United States. In my opinion, this movie is pretty damn good, which is one stop from a perfect slot on my rating scale. You got fantastic performances from all the parties involved. Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, everybody was really good. This movie is beautiful to look at and the cinematography is disturbing and unique. There are so many shots that just make you feel uncomfortable, and that is by design. The director of this film does a great job by building tension, not only throughout the movie, but in specific scenes without much happening. They still manage to do a whole lot to make you sit on the edge of your seat. The only problems that I find with this movie is that some people may feel like the tension didn't really pay off, as well as the pace of the movie is kind of off just a very little bit, and that's the only thing that keeps it out of the top spot for me. If you like tense movies that are filled with intrigue and build up tension throughout, this one is the one for you. Now here's your spoiler warning. We're going to be talking about the movie from this point moving forward. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. I think it's worthy of your time. I am very high on the film, but we're talking about specific instances, and let's get to it. People gonna hate the ending. People gonna say, I feel like I wasted my time. People gonna say, oh, they just left us hanging with the way the movie ended. Here's the truth about that. I think people just don't want to accept what the characters told you it was. Mahershala Ali's character said very plainly and laid out the steps as to what this movie is. This is a movie about world without rule of law. This is a WROL movie. And yes, they didn't tell us exactly who's doing it or who's behind it. But regardless of that, Mahershala Ali's character explained it very simply. It's a plan to topple governments. And regardless of who's in charge, we see that the plan, as far as what we saw in this movie, was working perfectly. Again, there's going to be those who are not happy with the conclusion, but if you really watch the movie gives you a conclusion. They tell you and show you how our main characters that we've been following thus far will end up surviving or at least doing good for a certain period of time. And that's by finding the bunker, setting up the bartering system with Kevin Bacon's character. And they even show you how some people, specifically one person, a daughter, will find happiness in this chaos by finding those Friends DVDs and watching the conclusion of that series. This is a WROL movie, and whether you know that term or not, if you do know that term, then you totally understand and probably like this movie. If you don't know that term, it's just a movie about a world without the rule of law, meaning no police, no government systems, no one's coming to help. You have to be self-sufficient for the most part, unless you have a community of people that are willing to band together and ride this thing out. I think there are people in the general audience that's gonna watch this and not feel satisfied because they feel as though they're watching something nonsensical. But honestly, if you're being real with yourself, most people realize how easily this movie can become a reality for any nation, specifically the United States though. And the fact that it's so realistic and so well executed, I think that should be unsettling in itself. The movie was very good. I think it achieved its goal, which is to show people how easily our government can, one, be toppled, and two, how unable we are, how incapable we are of being sufficient on our own in a moment's notice. I really liked it. I think it really got, my wheels turning. Me and my wife watched the whole thing. We really enjoyed it. We were wondering what was going on, and once things started being laid out, I could kind of see this ending coming, the way it just would shut off at a certain point, because there's nothing left to explain. You see what it is, you see how it's going, you see how badly it can go in such a short time. Just the fact that we saw a bug bite take this boy almost all the way out in the movie, it's like, yeah, this is on display to show you how bad things can go and how quickly they can go that bad. And so I'm happy with it. I liked it. I thought it was great. Pretty damn good. Damn near perfect. But let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section, because there's gonna be people who don't like it just because of the ending. But I thought it was a great ride up into the ending, and the ending felt basically appropriate. But share your thoughts in that comment section, please. That's all we got for this with y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.